Stand by, we're checking. 7037, if you receive any trawler calls in the vicinity of 4th Ave and Olympic City, please notify. Rampart 80, possible between 11 suspects, Alexandria and Beverly. Beverly and Alexandria, either driven on the tape when advised, being followed by a blue Mitsubishi and on license plate.
2 cops, copy, log on.
Talk about my office shenanigans now.
Yeah, see, as you don't have street cop shenanigans, you can talk about office cop shenanigans.
He's walking in here. He's like, I don't like these pens. I don't like the type of paper that you guys have in this office.
Bro, I straight up been doing that. Like, so
He's
there's a
already
tablet.
miserable.
We have an MDT in the office, and it does some janky shit. And I'm like, so Alan, when you leave, I'm gonna move over here. That shit's going to IT to get fixed, and I'm changing shit around.
It's because you've got all the phone numbers for everywhere.
Well, you're gonna be by yourself too when he leaves, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
for a
that's
month.
in a week.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
I do have a question that's totally random, off topic. Where does the
Where do
thing
babies come from?
No. Where's the like, oh yeah, can I get an oh yeah? Where's that come from?
I
Dumb.
have no idea. It's been all over the place on the internet.
Yeah, I'm wondering like where it originated. Is that a Dom question?
I want to know the backstory of the meme where he's like, "This is why mom doesn't fucking love you."
What are you talking about?
That video is freaking great.
I
wanna know the
I
story.
don't see that. Somebody needs to send that to me.
If anyone related to that is listening, I want to know what happened.
Well, I want to know where the oh yeah comes from. I'll ask Dom.
Somebody come get her. She dancing like a stripper. However the song goes. That was good too.
Okay, Fuzz, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to get this done so you can go back to sleep so you can go to work
Yep.
tomorrow?
So I can be up at the crack acid on before then.
Roxas, you ready for work tonight?
I think so.
As ready as you're ever
You
going to be?
over your hangover?
Yeah, I think so. Just took me a week to recover.
So worth it or no? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, worth it or no?
That's like a yearly thing. That's it.
Once a year.
That's it. I'm not as young as I used to be. Takes me a little bit to recover now.
Oh my goodness.
Life is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. It was like a sprint right out of the gate on that stream. It's like, cha-ching, here's all the subs and here's all the donos. I'm like, oh no, this is how it's going to be, huh?
Don't even take shots, just chug the whole bottle right off the bat.
Yeah, no bueno.
Well, let's get right into it then. Welcome back, episode 14. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about basically separating work from your home life. Simply put, on and off duty, the differences, how we act, how we dress, what we do to mitigate people knowing we're cops, especially in today's world. First, we're going to start out with a news story from Flying Fuzz. What'd you do?
I almost fell out of my chair.
We're not editing that out. That's staying.
No, we're not. Fuzz, what do you have for a news story?
This one's out of Millsburg, Kentucky. Officers with the Millsburg Police Department were working traffic enforcement when they noticed one plate that looked a little DIY. Something just didn't seem right about this particular license plate, the agency wrote in a Facebook post. The agency shared the photo of a hand-drawn Kentucky license plate which appears to have been colored with Sharpie. Officers later determined the driver had no insurance and was driving on a suspended license. The agency said, "Pro tip, don't forget to draw the registration sticker."
Oh no.
So that's it. It doesn't say if they were issued a ticket or whatnot, but if you go to the link I have, you'll see the picture. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good drawing if you ask me. But
actually, I was thinking the same thing. If it would have had the registration sticker, they probably wouldn't even noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many of our plates are super faded that you can't quite tell.
They didn't even stop him for fictitious license plate. The initial stop was for no registration. Bet, 100%. Yep. They didn't know until they looked at it.
I've come across some suspended plates. What about you guys? Or some bogus plates. What about you guys?
Oh, I've seen some.
Yeah, I don't even stop people for plates anymore. It's all speeding now. I'm sure I've seen one or two, but I don't really remember.
So
Nothing
that's
like
how.
this detailed though.
So you went to traffic because, and this is one of your justifications for this. I remember when you were telling the squad, you went to traffic because you are going to have more time to assist the sheriff in combating violent crime as part of his violent crime initiative, but yet
Yes.
you pick and choose now.
Well, yeah, you have to pick and choose because every car on the street is violating a traffic violation. One, so you have to pick and choose.
Well, get those
Two,
bakers in.
two, that is totally an horrible answer, first of all. Uh, three, it's a little bit weird right now with everything as far as like the Rona going on, um, all of the other stuff that we're not going to get into. That it's really just the simple, basic get your foot in the door kind of violations, like your license plate light being out at night, so you can't see the license plate. I
Mhm.
don't. Can we stop people for that? Sure, we can. If it's something that I'm driving down the street and there's a vehicle matching a description, or there's a vehicle that just is acting weird or looks weird or what have you, just makes my spidey senses go off, and they don't have a license plate
Mhm.
light, then yeah, like I'll stop it. But right now, with everything going on, it's just the liability isn't worth it. So we are focusing on stopping people for deadly infractions, which, if you do your homework, speeding. That's basically what it comes down to. Speeding
Speeding
and DUI.
DUI. Yeah.
Got it. Light on the oral board. Got it.
No, 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 no. That is a perfect answer for the oral board. In fact, the answer I just gave is actually a very good answer for an oral board as well.
Okay.
Very nice.
So you guys
I'm
want to
just saying.
hear some office drama now that I'm a office cop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you don't have any other stories to share with us, share with us
Getting fights with
the
staplers
the
instead of
tea.
suspects now.
So one
Yeah,
of the with
stapled is tied to the paperwork.
so I've been in there a couple weeks now, but one of the things I noticed right out of the gate was there's two desks in the ACIO office, and they each have two computer monitors. But like if you look at my desk right now, I have an older style monitor and a newer style monitor. And then you look at the other desk and they have an older style monitor and a newer style monitor, and it drives my OCD up the wall. So as soon as the other guy leaves, I'm swapping to make him like one have the newer one and one have the older one. That way it's
Perfect.
uniform.
I think you need to do it before he leaves and see if he notices.
He probably won't. That's probably why it's been like that for a year.
Nobody else notices the same thing that us techie guys do.
Yeah.
So
But it drives
basically,
my
Fuzz is just
OCD
a
up the
nerd.
wall.
Yeah, like the frames on the computers or the screens don't match. Like the border on this one's a lot thicker, and it's really upsetting me.
Yes, the older style, yes, it is actually annoying. I don't like it. The newer style
Yeah.
monitors we have, the HP ones, are pretty much borderless.
Oh,
It's really nice. So to have two of
Ooh.
those side by side, ooh,
Ooh.
ooh,
what's the refresh rates?
I don't know. I haven't dug that far into the.
His
I haven't
refresh
gone that
rate's
deep under the hood yet.
crystal clear
We got
refresh rate as he types his stats.
Yeah.
we gotta, one thing at a time. We gotta take this slow. Remember,
Gotta
it's a
take
marathon,
this.
not a race,
Well,
or
you're
not
gonna
a
be by
sprint.
yourself in a week, so you're gonna have the
Yeah.
4 computer screens to yourself. That's what
Yes.
you should do. You should set it up like that.
Oh my god, two and two on top of those ones, just like
I'd
a
Yeah.
totally do
mega.
it too.
Yeah.
I'd totally do it.
You have like a gaming chair for your desk chair.
Yes.
There's a sergeant in traffic that has that. He actually has an RGB keyboard as well.
No
Nice.
way.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
He does that
He's
when he
got
Like,
work at his computer? You gotta be like, bro, you're doing this traffic sergeant thing wrong.
he's a nerd though. He's a nerd.
Oh, well.
Like, I don't know if he's a nerd like us kind of nerd, but he's a nerd.
nice.
He's also very like doesn't care what other people think.
Yeah.
And he said so one of the sergeants sent out like got approval to get comp time for people to come and work the shift that they have because I don't know if they're the only squad or what, but they're short on guys, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So they got approval to have comp time approved so people can come and work it. Well, the sergeant replied, because it's obviously they're just looking for cops. The sergeant replied with a beam that was like, it's the kid that like does the peace out sign and then he fades out like
Mm-hmm.
throughout the boxes of the meme. And the top part says, when you find out it's only for comp time and they didn't approve overtime, and then
Yeah.
everybody pieces out.
Yep. Bye.
I was like, dude, so true though.
That's like DTAC trying to do that. He wants to
Like,
come in on their off time and do some violent crime stuff. It's if we can only give you comp time. Yeah.
nope.
Nope.
Which Fuzz might know more about this, but can they even do that? Like, if I go in and work, I get that I agreed prior, but if I'm like, you know what, I want overtime now. I guess we don't have a contract right now, but is that something that can happen?
I don't know. That's a contract question, and I think if you agree and sign up to comp time, then you're shit
Yeah,
out of
that would
luck.
be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. They need all the help they can get down there in DTAC right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, my turn.
I guess we'll roll right into this one because I know you're excited.
Yeah. So we've got a unit that's specifically sent down to Fremont Street right now as a doubled up unit, and they've been down on Fremont Street, kind of handling the fun groups of people that have been hanging out down there lately. Well, one of the guys had something come up, so he needed a partner for the day. So I volunteered because I was bored of all the other areas I was hanging out in. So we go down there, and right off the bat, there are fights everywhere, and it just reminded me of the good old bike days. We had one mass group of people who were trying to throw a backpack around full of drugs, and we ended up running from like 6th and Fremont over to 3rd and Ogden. Ended up running out of breath on the way over there. And then we had another fight that happened with the bike units that was at also 3rd and Ogden by the gift shop there. And they required a whole bunch of extra units. But now all the sergeants know how fast I am, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Bro, they're
You
gonna
should
put
just
you
be on
back
your
on a
bike, bro.
bike.
Yeah. They're like, we need Roxas back out there because he's quick.
They're gonna put you back on your bike, man. Just stay away from there.
What
Oof.
night was this?
Uh,
Was this right when
Oh, this
Fremont
was
opened up?
no, this
no,
was last week.
this was this last week.
I remember him telling us about it. I feel like it was a Monday night. Oh no, you know what? I think it was it Tuesday?
Yeah, it was our Friday, so it would have been Tuesday. Wednesday morning or whatever.
Well, so part of the doubling, you guys are still doubling up, right?
We've never doubled up.
Really? Because you guys were
Oh,
supposed to.
What?
No, we have never
You're
doubled up.
supposed to be
Yeah,
this
you're
last
supposed
week.
to for the chiefs and undersheriffs and stuff.
Yeah, no, not a
Which
detail.
we won't go into this, but I think it's so stupid that
Well,
they're like, hey, you're gonna double up for a week. And
We
then we're
have
not gonna double up
3
anymore.
people doing calls for service each night. 3.
not doubled up.
Yeah, not doubled up.
Well,
That's like us. We doubled up and we had 2 units for the entire valley.
Mm-hmm.
but you're still rocking separate call signs.
Some of us are. One of our guys is in a car to keep him from going light duty because of his shoulder, because we can't afford to lose anybody. So
Yeah.
we have one on light duty, so he's day shift hours. We have one on FMLA, and then there's 5 of us. 5 of us that show up to work consistently if nobody's off. But then we have to give somebody to VCI. So that leaves 4 of us. So that's the dude in the car that we're trying not to go light duty on because we can't afford to lose him. And then there's the other 2 on motors. And yes, they're different call signs, but they are instructed to stay together. which
Right.
I'll be honest with you, like doubling up as motor units really isn't do much. Because like if somebody's gonna come after us, they're gonna shoot us from our motorcycle or they're gonna hit us on our motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really just putting 2 targets there for them is all I'm saying.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah, getting to the call, I guess, but once you're on the call.
yeah, once you get to the call, you have, well, obviously it's nice because not only do you have somebody there as, contact cover to watch your back, but also somebody to help you with the call.
Right.
Yeah.
So we took Friday night we took 6 reports. So I did 3 and he did 3. And it was just on to the next, on to the next.
Yeah, that's the nice part about it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like I was done when he was doing the Rex. Like I was taking pictures. I was doing the P1 reports. I was doing this and that. And we were done when we left. It was like, now that's nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of doubling up at VCI, when we go to VCI, we jump in. I have been jumping in with patrol. They've allowed us to wear our training uniforms to VCI, which is tack pants and a polo shirt, much more comfortable than our high boots. And I've just been jumping in a car with patrol and riding around. The first night was kind of like, It was kind of like, guy's a little weird. Thinks he's really
Yeah.
a cop. Not really, really going to be a cop. Super IP number. Just like, I don't know. And he was, you want to know what it was that drove me crazy? I'll be honest with you. And don't judge me. He was a terrible driver.
Oh.
Terrible.
You think everyone's a terrible driver, but you're
No.
worse.
No. Like, I mean, like, I legit thought I was gonna have to do a accident, like an involved accident report for the department. He hit the rim so hard, man, on a simple turn, and I was like, "Yo!" Like, what the? And all of his turns, like instead of like taking the turn to where you have room to maneuver the vehicle, like whether it's rear wheel cheat, whether it's not going into the other lane. Like he would straight. So if you have if you have an intersection, right, and you're making that turn, and instead of Ewing it out and making it comfortable so you can gain speed while you're turning, right, he would beeline it to the median and then crank it, and half the time the back tire would go over the median.
Oh.
I'm like, yo, dude, where did you learn to drive?
This is why all of our cars keep getting wrecked. Like, who taught these people how to drive? Like, I don't get it.
I'm telling you, like, I give Fuzz crap because he drives fast. He makes me sick. He uses the brakes.
I drive fast, bro.
Yeah, but it's just like you make me sick with your driving just because of and I didn't get sick with his driving. I was sick of his driving, if you know what I mean. like I give Fuzz crap, but he's not a bad driver as far as like performing the vehicle, right? We won't go into Roxas's driving history.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
But this guy, man, it was whatever. Anyways, I digress. The second night, I had somebody from Fuzz's class, and he was a cool guy. He was fun. He was a lot of fun. He's a good cop too. Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. But we're driving around, we're talking, BSing, and we see this dude jaywalking. Not really that big of a deal again. Like we're just kind of chilling, not worrying about anything, looking for something fun or good. And this guy sees us, and he just keeps walking like we're not even there. And then he stops in front of the cop car and like waves at us, but like in a weird way, like he's being super weird about it. And so we're both like, okay, like, well, he like stopped in the middle of the travel lanes, and then he almost got hit by another car coming because they couldn't see him because he was too busy playing in front of our car and wasn't checking the road. Like he had no due care whatsoever for anything. So we're like, well, we'll go talk to him. So we pull into the parking lot that he walks in, but it's connected by landscaping area to a 7-Eleven parking lot. So Ramos hits lights and sirens, and the dude just keeps walking over the landscaping area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, So Ramos is like yelling out the window like at him, like, "Hey, get over here!" And he gets out to go chase him. I was like, "Bro, just get back in the car. We'll drive around. Like, you can go this way. We'll drive around the other way." So we go to drive around, and I was like, "He's being super weird. So he either is going to take off running the other way, or he's going to go into the 7-Eleven." And Ramos was like, "Yeah, same thing. I feel the same way." So we go into the parking lot, and we're like, "What the heck?" And he wasn't running, but he turned back the other way, and he was walking back across the road where he had just crossed, like trying to like ghost us or whatever. We're like, "Really?" So Ramos goes up past him again and then flips back around because he was walking towards like some apartments. So he got in between him and the apartments and flipped back around and lit him up while he was in the middle of the road. And this guy, like, he's a little bit off. He's not all there, right? You have to kind of be not all there to run from the cops, but he straight up like stops and hard tries to juke the car, like fakes left, fakes right. And then he turns around and just runs away from us in a straight line down the middle of the road. So Ramos is driving behind him. Like we both have our doors open and the sirens going, and I'm like, control foot pursuit.
You're like, I don't know if it actually is or not, but yeah.
And I'm like calling out whatever and everything. Well, then I'm like, hey, just you stay in the car. If he does anything, I'll get out and chase him. Just stay in the car. Like I'll get out and I sprinting after nobody, but I will jog behind somebody and maintain a visual on them until more resources arrive. I was like, I went to motors, like I'm done chasing people.
Yeah.
But he ends up turning around and coming back towards us, so I jumped out and ran around the car. And once he got into a parking lot, he like turned and tried to square up on us.
What?
And yeah, like he wasn't like he was like I could have easily tased him. But so I came out on gun. He turned around, squared up. I switched to taser because Ramos was coming up behind me. I yelled at Ramos. I'm like, "Let me know when you want to go hands on." He didn't care. He didn't want to let me know. He just ran up and like basically just body slammed the guy because he's a big dude. Like
Yeah.
he is. Ramos is a big guy. He just goes up and bear hugs the guy and just lays on him. I put my taser away and we segment and I'm like, "I was not ready for you to go hands on, man. I still have my taser out." He's like, "Yeah, it's okay. I got excited."
It's fine. It all worked
I
out.
was like, all right. We just held him there and we're just on the radio like, yeah. I think I said something because they asked for like an update and I was like, he's still just running down the road. And then he turned on us and I was like, well, we're about to 416, which is right for those of you that don't know. Oh yeah, it was the best part about it was, and I wish I'm kind of short, so like my body camera didn't show out the windshield, and I didn't look at Ramos to see if you can see it on his. But the best part is by far, this guy like squares up to the car, jukes left, juke right, and just turned around and runs away in a complete straight line in front of us.
After he
And-
jaywalks and waves in front of you.
Yeah, and he ended up being somebody that like the other units showed up that worked the area, and they're like calling him by name, like, dude, why do you always run from the cops? You never get away. Like talking bad crap to him. But like I said, he wasn't all there, and he was running like really, really hard, but not going anywhere. Straight up like a cartoon, like running in place almost. His body movements and his mannerisms were. You would think he was an Olympian athlete sprinting for the gold medal, but he was going very, very slow.
Just watching him. You're like, oh, he's going somewhere, but he's not.
Maybe he just felt slow because we were in the car. I don't know. Because he was running in a straight line.
It's kind of like what Roxas and I have talked about a few times, where people will just jaywalk right in front of you, a fully marked unit, and then they get mad when you stop them for jaywalking or ped fail or whatever. And
Well, it's not like that.
It's
It's like they're standing at the intersection, they look at you, and then
Right.
they proceed to do it. It's like, you made eye contact with me.
right, and then they get mad that you stopped them for it.
It's like they're like looking at you going, I double dog dare you, and then they do it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I didn't think you were actually going to do it. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if there wouldn't have been other vehicles or other people out and about, well, let me rephrase that. If he'd have just stopped, he probably wouldn't have gotten a ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, because we would have realized, like, okay, this guy's not all there.
You'd be like, what are you
He
doing?
probably would
Stand on
have
the
gotten a
road.
ticket. Yeah. Like, but no, he had to run, so then he went off to jail. We've talked about that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when people, I don't mind sometimes if people look at me and then jaywalk or ask me or, they take notice to you. What I do mind is when it's like there's 20 people and then they look at you and they're like, oh, I can cross, but these 20 people have to stay. And it's like, now you're forcing me. I can't, I can't let you go because then if these 20 people go, I'm screwed. It's more of like a,
Yeah.
It's like on
like
Fremont
we,
Street. You always get that one guy that does it first, and the crowd goes, and then the cars roll up, and it becomes
Yeah.
chaos in the intersection. Like, well, you started this, big guy.
Yeah.
yeah, it bugs me more when people are like, oh, I'm going to look at the cops and go because I'm above everybody else and they're not going to stop me. And you're like, well, now I have to stop you because there's 20 other people around that are either A, going to do the same thing and it's going to be a disaster, or B, you're going to be like, oh, why did you stop that guy?
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get into the topic now. That was enough BSing about our week and our story times. Like I said, we're talking about separating work from home. Basically, the best way that I can think of to describe it is just off duty and on duty. We're gonna get into a little bit of the like privacy and your neighbors and family and such, but for the most part, it's on duty versus off duty. How we act, how we dress, what policies or procedures are implemented and in place for really, I guess, for our protection,
Yeah.
to say it the best way.
Yeah. Best way
We
to
are a
look
little
at
bit
it.
what?
So that's the best way to look at it.
That's all I can think of, honestly, especially with we're gonna go in and talk about like our uniforms and the vehicles and such. A lot of departments, especially smaller departments, take all of their cop cars home.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Um, they, I've even noticed that people are allowed to drive their cop cars off duty for different activities, I guess you could say.
You mean like taking it to
And
court and stuff like that?
yeah, like, well, in different areas, different departments, right? Even different states, just like they're allowed to take their families in the cars. They're allowed to go to the grocery store in their car because it's a police presence. We don't do that.
Hmm.
There is Fuzz, correct me if I'm wrong, but with like on call people, they're allowed to have their families in the car, right? But they're also
Yeah.
completely undercover cars.
Yeah.
Well, normally I can't say yes or no to that because I've always been told that when you're on call and let's say you go out to dinner with the family, that the family takes a separate car
Yeah, because if
because
you've
if
got a
you get
split, you got to take
called,
your car.
right?
And that would make sense, but are we sure that like, the kid doesn't ride in the back seat while the dad drives a work car and the mom drives a van, and then mom can take them home if they need to, but
I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that for
I would
100%.
say I'd avoid it just to stay safe, but I
I
don't
would
have
as
an answer
well.
for it. Yeah.
I would as well, and I would avoid it too because the one time I would decide like, nah, we're going to pick up McDonald's. We'll just take the cop car. No big deal. It's unmarked. Whatever. And then we'll be sitting in the drive-through at McDonald's. And we'll get a call.
Yeah.
That's why I would
Yep.
avoid it because that's just my luck. But
Yeah.
I've asked that question because I've seen unmarked cars with like car seats in them and stuff like that, which some people might have to just take that chance. I guess I'm not sure. Let's dive into it though. Let's talk a little bit more about vehicles and let's talk about our uniforms and such as well.
Hmm.
We don't wear our uniforms anywhere except at work.
Yeah, because
Yep.
there's a lot of departments that you can dress out at home, and then drive to work, whether in your personal vehicle or if you have your patrol vehicle at home, which that's the way it was like with my stepdad. He would get dressed out at home and then go to work. But that's one
And
of
did
those
he?
things. You're driving your personally owned vehicle in a uniform, not technically on the clock. It's just a safety thing.
Did he have a take-home vehicle at all, or was it just
It
his
was
car?
like every once in a while. For the most part, he took our POV home and to work.
POV is personally owned vehicle, for those of
Yeah.
you that don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, every once in a while he would bring it home, but I think because most of the apartments he worked for were smaller, they didn't have the amount of cars for him to bring home. So it was one of those things where he'd just dress out, just drive in our vehicle, which the department doesn't allow you to do. Which, you know, when you first get on, you're like, oh, I want to wear my uniform everywhere. You want to do this and that with it. And then after you get like a year or two on, you're like, yeah, that's probably a good idea that we don't ever wear our uniforms outside of work.
That's a good point that I'm gonna write down.
Yeah.
It's the new cops' attitude on things and
Yeah.
the older cops' attitude on things. So it's weird for me a little bit because technically with the spot I'm at, I'm supposed to have a take-home vehicle,
Mhm.
which means that everybody I work with, they get dressed in their uniform at home and they pull their motorcycle out of their garage and they go to work.
Mhm.
Well, I don't because I live out of town. I live out of the mileage limit of where we're allowed to take the vehicles. So some days I'm wearing like the bottom half of my uniform with, you know, my white t-shirt and all my stuff's in the trunk. Other days I'm running late and I do dress out of my full uniform. However, I justify it by saying it's dark outside so people can't see that I'm in there. I don't know. It's stupid, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm running late, okay? But I
I've made
still
some
have
bad
a locker.
decisions. I'm in a hard rock in a place.
Yes. I don't do it all the time, but when I do it, you know, it's necessary. I still have a locker at the station, though, because that's where we keep everything. That's where everything happens. And I don't think the weird thing is this is the weird thing that throws me off, right? Because we in policy it says that we're not allowed to wear uniforms, right? In our own vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
But for the overtimes and per overtime policy, if you aren't the individual assigned to bring an apartment vehicle, you have to bring your own car.
Right.
But you have to be in uniform for overtime.
Yeah, I've never understood that.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't get it.
I still go
Always-
get a car.
Yeah, I've always brought a black and white though. So
I always do as well, but I've heard like it's one of those things where it's okay until it's not okay.
right,
Basically, it's okay until you piss somebody off and then they want to use that against you,
right.
kind of thing.
I
Which is
just
the
worked a
way
lot
a
of
lot of
overtime
stuff
with
is.
detectives where they do that. They'll come in uniform, but they're in their, you know, their detective car.
And I don't think those count.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
think those
No.
count as a
No, they don't.
marked vehicle.
No, it's not a black and white. Like it says specifically in the overtime.
And my motorcycle, I did confirm, counts as a black and white.
Uh,
In case you guys are wondering. Which I've always said that
That's
it did.
interesting. I don't think it. Who said that?
But the sergeant over overtime. Because I
really?
didn't think it did either. Yes. Yes.
Because when I think, oh, we need a black and white at an overtime, I'm thinking we need the cage.
Yes.
You know, we need
that's
everything
what I
that
was
goes
thinking.
with a black and white.
mm-hmm.
That's exactly what, because if you're the mandatory person to bring a black and white, you're technically the reason you're given that position is you're supposed to bring everything necessary to complete your job at that overtime. So paperwork, tablet,
Yeah.
cage, you know, transport, like bags for property. Like that's how I saw it too. But I asked him at my last overtime because he came in and checked on us, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it's a marked patrol vehicle. It counts." And I was like, "Okay," because I mean, for traffic, yes, but everybody brings a black and white, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But when I'm working like Costco, and you got two motors parked out front, we have no car. No, we're gonna have to call a transport if we need it.
Yeah.
But hey, he said, and the reason I was skeptical about it is because that the overtime that I worked at Costco, it was 2 motors. And when the guy called me, he's like, "Oh wait, you're in traffic too, huh?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Ah, that's fine. You guys can both just take your motors." And I was like, "Okay." So that made me skeptical about it, because before that I was just like, "Yeah, whatever. What are they gonna do? Send me home?"
Yeah.
4 hours for if they send me home, so I'm not worried about it. What about do you guys hide your uniforms like when you walk into your house or when you get them from dry cleaning and stuff?
If I have to pull anything out of my car, I back my car into the garage and I shut the garage door before I pull anything out of the car.
Yeah, same. The reason I even like wrote that down or thought about it is because I'm pretty sure Fuzz does that.
Yeah.
Because every time I go to Fuzz's neighborhood, he's like, "Yeah, people don't like the cops here."
Yeah, my neighborhood's not much different, but I got a good neighborhood. It's just nobody knows.
So like nobody knows you're a cop then
No, nobody in this
for either of you.
Nope.
No.
Do
Not
we
that I'm
think that
aware
they?
of, anyway.
Yeah, like do we think that they might think that you're a cop, or do you guys just not talk to your neighbors at all?
I don't talk to them at all, but I'm sure that they probably wonder why I come and go at like the weirdest hours of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Vegas though, and there's so many things opened and graveyard shift. Like it's Vegas. I don't know. We're gonna go a little bit more into that, but especially like getting to know people first before you share anything with them. Let's talk about like directly relating to on and off duty conduct. Like let's go into like attitudes and how we dress and our actions and who we tell what to and kind of the conversations we've had. And this is we're gonna kind of bring. I brought up attitudes and we're gonna kind of talk about it, but then we're gonna dive deeper into it, especially with the new cops versus older cops thing.
Yeah, my attitude like off duty is that I'm not a cop. Like it's one of those things like some people are like, no, it's like, you're a cop 24/7. And it's like once I leave that station, I am no longer a cop. And I no longer it's not that I don't care because if something big was going on, I'd still have to get involved, but all these little property crimes and stupid little stuff that goes on, it is way outside of what I care about off duty.
I think with that too, like we see so much ridiculous stuff that we usually put in our PSA announcements that we see stuff off duty and somebody's like, "Oh, we should call the cops." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
we're not."
Yeah.
There's always that thing. It's like you see something happen and you go to grab the phone and you're like, you know what? I was like, I'm not getting involved in anything off duty. And you just put the phone down and continue on with your day.
Well, and you're like, they're not even gonna go look for that guy. Like he stole
No.
a bag of chips, or he yelled at somebody, or he did this. Like,
Well, I don't even bat an eye at stuff like that. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't unless somebody's getting stabbed, shot, murdered in some way.
Yeah.
You're not getting my attention.
No.
And unless I'm with people that are law enforcement related, you're not getting my attention.
Even then.
Or if I'm by myself. Like, if I'm out with Fuzz and somebody's getting murdered, I'm much more likely to do something or get involved than I would be if I'm out with like my family or friends that aren't cops or like a church group or like whatever have you or random strangers
Yeah.
just in the area. And I think, like I said, we're going to go more into attitudes, but it kind of just comes down to basically we know we're always cops, we're always hyper vigilant, we're always observing, we're always aware. We go to a restaurant, we sit where we can see the door and the cashier, like we know our exits. We have all this crap that's ingrained in us for safety that really changes our lifestyle. But you have to understand that you need a break and you need to separate that, especially when it comes to your personality or attitudes or your mental health per se.
Oh, yeah.
I think Roxas should just do a whole episode by himself on not dressing like a cop.
Yeah. For those of you that do follow me on Instagram, you look at all of my posts, you would never know off duty. Like, I don't walk around in 511 pants. I don't have a bunch of shirts with flags and stuff like that on it. Like, You would have no idea. There's nothing, no stickers on my car, nothing. It's all separate. But
If you were to see Roxas off duty at Disneyland, you would either think two things, and not that there's anything wrong with these two things, but you would either think that he's like the hipster that peaked in college, that lives at home, that just like hippie,
Yep.
or you would think he was, swinging for the other team.
Yeah.
Like those are the only two things.
I'm all about
But
my
don't get me wrong,
looks.
he's got class.
I'm all about my looks.
He's got class. Man, he would walk into. Oh, man, remember when he walked into training day with like a cardigan on? He walked in with a cardigan on, and everybody's like,
I was doing things the before that. I had to go grocery shopping or something.
Roxas does not like come off as his age group. He comes off as like 12 years younger than his age group.
It's because I look 12 years younger too. I don't feel like it.
And then you have Fuzz. Like they're like opposites in that. Fuzz like if you look at Fuzz, you're like, oh, there's no way. Like he's definitely 35. Like definitely in his mid 30s. Definitely does this on his free time. Like, and then you look at Roxas, you're like, holy crap. This guy is straight
the
out of
cardigan
college.
was better than the muscle shirt you walked into training day with one day.
No.
It was a tank top. It was my pink tank top. Yeah. I don't have any muscle shirts. You have to have muscles to have a muscle shirt.
And then it was like pink or peach pants or something like that.
Yeah, my coral pants.
Coral.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, coral.
I was about to say, you're going to talk about the wardrobe. You better bring up the wardrobe.
Oh, man. Slim fit suits to court. Which I like those two.
I look better than half the attorneys in there.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's too much work for fucking
traffic court.
Yeah, traffic court.
But
Any chance?
that's coming from Fuzz, so it doesn't mean much because Fuzz wears. I swear, Fuzz's closet is 5 pairs of the same shorts, the same polo shirt, the same sweater, the same zip up the middle fleece sweater, like dark gray, okay, with white strings and a white zipper.
Well,
And then his tan cargo shorts that he has 5 different colors, one for each day of the week, and then his gray t-shirt, and then his one blue polo. Like that's his wardrobe. That's all he ever wears.
It's simple.
Although
Straight to the point.
I will say now that he's in the office, I don't know if he went and bought clothes or if he just had like business casual clothes from prior. But he looks good when he dresses up.
So the nice stuff you see me wearing is like my expensive stuff. And I don't
what's
like
expensive stuff? Because I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of a.
Like the pants I'm wearing are part of my $500 suit.
Why would you do that? Why would you wear?
Because that's all I have.
Yeah.
So I did buy one pair of
slacks though. You don't wear your suit pants without your suit coat because then your suit pants fade faster than your suit coat. Looks like your high priest.
Well, that's all I have. So I did buy a pair of Dockers.
Yeah.
Which I'm a 30 waist, and so I ordered a 30.
Mm-hmm.
And these things came in like 32, like there's 32. Because I put them on and I was like, these are big. And then I grabbed the little tape, the little measuring tape, and I wrapped them around, and I was like, these bitches are 32. They ain't 30. But they said 30 on them. I'm like,
Someone lied.
So anyway, yeah.
Well, Dockers sometimes can fit differently, and it depends on which ones you get. Because again, I like the slim fit ones, but
anyway, yes, I'm having to buy clothes because they don't like 5'11s and stuff, which just annoys me to no end.
Yeah, that's and what's irritating about it is it still looks good. Like when you show up in your work polo with 5'11s and your guns on and such, it still looks fine.
It flows. It can still look professional.
Yeah, but you're still ready to run out of the office and take care of business if you need to.
Right.
Which brings up a good point, which isn't anywhere in here. Does that happen? Like, because I know PD will do that, right? PD will run out and put on vests and stuff and go do stuff. But you guys,
We don't really run out. There's been, I've heard stories of pre-corona ACIOs would go out and do some like 440 follow-up, wanted, that's what that means, wanted suspect follow-up, and they would carry around their tac vests just in case, but I don't know how true that
Yeah, I've
is.
heard some stories
That's just
about
what I
that, but
was,
never seen
yeah,
it.
that's just,
well, this is what we'll do. We'll just go to Ross one day and we'll just get you a whole wardrobe. That is the best friend for that kind of stuff. Ross is where it's at, bro.
okay.
I'm telling you, dude. Like, I got what, like $140 a month when I was on my mission, and Ross is legit, dude. Ross is where it's at. Dockers, shirts. You don't have to wear ties, do you? Do you have to wear ties?
No ties.
Okay, good. Oof, oof.
Well, so when I first went to ACIO, they were like, well, Knights told me, he said, well, the captain doesn't really like tennis or sneakers. And I was like,
What?
that's kind of where I draw the line. Like, I don't know. I'm not a dress shoe kind of person, so.
Well, you shouldn't be dress shoes in that. What if you do have to go do something? Even if you have to
Right,
change, at least if you're in tennis shoes, you can go and do something if you change into uniform.
right.
But I
And that's,
guess you probably have your boots there, I guess. Do you have your locker still? Or
yeah, I still got my locker. But that's kind of the nice thing about the Dockers is they're not quite slacks, so you don't need to wear dress shoes, so I can get away with wearing the sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
And it still
I mean,
looks
as long as they're
kind of,
nice, I mean.
yeah. Well, they're just straight black sneakers, so it's not like anything crazy.
Another thing with off duty and on duty, kind of getting back on subject. Well, two things. Uh, I was told like keep your non-cop friends, like don't push them away. And I think we'll talk about this more maybe in like a mental health episode. But I think we kind of cling to our cop friends because we can open up about our conversations with them. And that's kind of the second part to it.
They
Don't be
understand
that
our
guy.
humor.
Yes, but don't be that guy that goes to like your high school reunion and you're telling like dark cop stories.
Yeah.
Because people find it entertaining. I mean, I guess because we tell stories here, but that was kind of like the 2 points of some advice that I got, and I've kind of tweaked it a little bit because I think it's good to have your cop friends that, like us, like three of us, like we could call and talk to each other about stuff, whether it's dark or annoying or what have you, and it helps free up that frustration a little bit. But you're gonna have your like friends on your squad, but don't make that your only friends that you
Yeah.
work with 24/7. You hang out with them off duty, and you do this and you do that. Like branch out, have keep your old friends that aren't cops. Keep in touch with your friends that you used to work with that you're close to, and then that way you can have those conversations if you need to, but you're not sitting at the family dinner table telling people about the dark side of things. Which I don't know about you guys, but like my family gets irritated with me. Like they will see something on the news and they'll be like, "Oh, like this was here. Like, did you hear about this?" I was like, "Yeah, I was there." And they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like blah blah blah." And it's like we're not talking about it. Like like the big fire down there. Like they were all like, "Oh, like we saw the body camera and like we saw this, we did this and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "We're not talking about it." Like I'm not going to dive into that with you and one like kind of give you a feel of what we deal with because you guys will just freak out and be like, "Oh my goodness, like are you okay?" And bug me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, like it's not worth it to like put that kind of stress or feeling those dark feelings on you either. So
Yeah. Some things that just cause more people to worry.
let's kind of go into this is gonna be this is gonna be good. Attitudes of new cops versus older cops.
It's different.
And when I say older cops too, I mean like anything from just there's comes a point where you hate in your job or your career and you're like, okay, I get it now. It could be 6 months in, it could be 6 years in, it's probably a little bit different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Fuzz was one of those ones that hit it like 6 months in.
6 months in, like we talking academy time here, or
Like just no, like when you were in your high school training to be a cop and downloading your programs, you were like, aha, I get this.
sure? I think I
Sure.
missed the first half of your thing.
Sure. No, I think like you get, especially, it's good to start this career young
Yeah,
because honestly, it's a young man's game for the most part.
and
The
I
shift,
and I kind of disagree on some points.
well, and we'll go into that because you started it a little bit older.
Yeah,
But I think we'll agree. I think what we'll agree is that it's kind of a young cop's game, but they're so immature and they have no life experience.
right.
that's the problem. You get a lot of people that come
Yeah.
in fresh that have probably never had any type of real job beforehand, unless it was like McDonald's or something like that, like basic level stuff. With the zero life experience, not knowing how to talk to people, and then all of a sudden you're put in a position where you have to solve everyone's problems. So I mean, it kind of goes back and forth. Like, sure, you have to be young and in shape to do everything like that, but you also have to be intelligent on the back end. Be a little more
Yes, and that's
calm,
what.
a little more level headed, because you get some of the younger guys that pop on and they just want to run out and own the world. And
Well, and that's what separates the. I don't want to say older cops, but the ones that get it and the ones that don't.
Mhm.
Even just with their attitudes off duty as well.
Yeah,
Like you get these cops that think they're like even when they're off duty, they're some cool guy, and then they get the crap beat out of them
yeah,
because they want to go flaunt around that they're a cop, or they want to talk crap because they think they're above everybody. Like that's kind of it's an issue. It really is.
yeah.
And I'm sure we've all had those moments where we're like, "Oh, that lady looked at me the wrong way. I'm gonna go stop her, haha," or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I agree. I completely agree that there's sometimes whether it's your thought process or critical thinking or what have you, like the maturity is just sometimes not there. And it's weird because I've seen like 3 or 4 people that have committed like their entire livelihood to grow up and be a cop, go to a specific school for it, train for it, do explorers, do this, do that, and then they don't make it. And it's like, well, you haven't ever done anything else to branch off and to create experience because a lot of this comes down to 99.9% of this job comes down to common sense and talking to people.
Yep. People skills is a must.
And even with people like Fuzz that just comes off as dry or abrasive, but he knows how to talk to people. You just have to do it in a way that's like, hey, look, I'm busy doing my job over here or whatever. You just can't. It honestly comes down to respect, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the newer cops, they don't quite grasp that. I guess they don't quite understand. Like, hey, I can get out of my car and be respectful and still have command presence and still have control of somebody. If they take that respect level away, now that's on them. But we need to have that respect level going into it.
Yeah. I also think too, younger cops, they're in such a hurry all the time. Like it's like, yeah, 20 calls are holding. We'll get to it when we get to it. Like,
Yeah. Don't try and be super cop and knock everything out, and then come the end of the day, you've got 4 reports you have to take because you put them aside
right.
to handle calls.
And 2 of them you screwed up because you were in a rush.
You know, just you got to take it one call at a time.
It kind of stresses me out. Seeing all the calls holding kind of stresses me out.
There's only so much you
I
can
used
do.
to just look at it and laugh. On
Yeah.
swings, when it was so busy and we get like
Yeah.
25 calls holding, I'd just look and be like,
Yeah. It's the same
is it
thing
my
now in
problem?
trade.
Yes, but
Yeah, but that's just it. It's like you only do so much. You have to go and provide
right,
a service to whoever called. So you go to the call,
right,
you take care of the problem, or you attempt to, and then you go to the next one. Like you can't rush it. You can't just run up there and be like, "What do you need?" All right, well, I can't do that. Okay, bye. Like that's
right,
Okay,
exactly.
not helping anybody because one, they're going to get upset. They're going to call back in, and then if they call in and they want to speak to a supervisor because you didn't offer the services that they wanted, now you've really screwed up the time. Now you have to go back to that call, talk to that person again, and now the calls are stacking up further. So it's like you have to go, you have to handle the call, do everything you can, and then finish up.
Yeah,
I think the thing that irritated me the most about it, especially on patrol, was the other cops on the squad or on the other squads that were just like screwing you over. And then you see that, like they're sitting on a basic call for way longer than they need to be, and then they clear right off of that and they stop a car. And when there's a bunch of stuff holding, like by
yeah,
all means, if you see something that absolutely needs to be stopped, like you can put your call back and hold and stop it really quick. You don't need to dodge everything. That's what like
yeah.
irritated me and stressed me out
Yeah.
the most about calls holding. And that's just a me thing. I don't know. I
No, I
I'm
agree
one of
100%.
the I'm one of the people that think like, okay, like your patrol, yes, you should be catching bad guys, but your job is calls for service. Like I want to catch bad guys too, but if there's four of us working on these calls instead of one of us, we can get them out and we can all catch bad guys.
Right, and the thing too is whenever there's like we're building this incident action plan for an event coming up, and what does it say? It says calls for service. The patrol squad is assigned calls for service. They're not assigned to be proactive. They're assigned calls for service. So yes, like Pulsey said, your job is to go out and catch bad guys, but your number one priority is calls for service. Day to day, not just on one event, day to day, your job is calls for service.
I wish
And that's
everyone
what like
understood that.
yeah, me too. And if you want to go and catch bad guys your whole shift, go to a different squad. Go to go to flex, go to this, go to that, or
Or
try
take
to be
Or
take the
take care of
DP
the
call sign for
calls.
the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Take the violent crime call sign, go to the valley-wide violent crime. Or what Rox has said, finish all the calls.
Yeah.
Like when we all worked together, that was my biggest pet peeve, is they'd be like, oh, we're gonna send this squad out to do proactive and this squad out to do calls. And it's like, well, or there's 10 of us and there's four calls holding.
Mm-hmm.
We could all go out and take calls
Yeah.
and then we can all go
And
out
then we
and
all
catch
get
bad
to
guys.
go
And then
and
you
play.
have, and it's not even about going and playing, but it's everything they talk about, right? They want more cops on the street because they want more police presence. Police presence deters or stops crime.
Yep.
Okay, so if I'm sitting at a call for 2 hours by myself because I'm the only one taking calls, that's one less guy out there on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
or if me and my partner, or if this squad has 4 people and there's 10 calls holding and the other squad has 10 people, like we could have 6 people out on the streets and then we could have 14 people out on the streets when we finish calls.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Because once you catch up, then you
I
can
don't know.
stay caught up.
What do we know?
A call comes out, cool.
Exactly.
Someone goes and handles it really quick, knocks it out, and then we all go back out again.
And then it's not that big of a deal because, sure, I don't mind taking a call. Like if
Yeah.
there's one call and it comes out and I get assigned, like I'm not mad at anybody for staying on their car stop or staying on their person's stop. Like I don't know their life. Maybe they had to poop. Maybe they had to go get food. I don't know. I don't care. But it's when there's 15 calls holding and I'm like, all right, go ahead and clear me. I'll take another one, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the same guy that from the start of shift has been on the same car stop says, oh, clear me Aunt Mary after 45 minutes when it takes 2 minutes to decide that. I gave him a warning. I'm going to go stop somebody else. Like, okay, that's cool. No big deal. Moving on, because now I'm getting, moving on. Gosh, I hate people. Let's talk about some privacy stuff, especially revolving around family. What do you guys tell people you do for work? Like not family members, but random people.
I make stuff up every time. I make it a game.
Yeah, pretty much.
You make it a game.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it pretty consistent. I usually say the coroner's office
That's a
because
good one.
we know what they do well enough to fake it, right?
For a couple
And
minutes at
really,
least.
well, yeah, like, well, you could BS it too, man. Like, you could just if they want to keep going. But the best part about it is people figure out like, oh yeah, I work for the coroner's office. You know, I go do this, I go do that. I basically pick up dead bodies for people, and they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's weird.
I just like the basic one where it's just I work for the government. Because
Yeah,
then
I've done
people
that a
wonder.
lot.
Because then they're like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Well, I can't talk about it."
Yeah.
And I leave it at that, and it's great because then they wonder.
Yeah, I've done
Oh
that.
my goodness.
Or I
He
get
works for the
worse.
CIA.
Yeah, or I get worse, and I'm like, "Yeah, I work for waste management or like the trash company." It'll
I'm a babysitter for the city.
it pretty much, yeah,
There you go.
stuff like that. You gotta have fun with it.
We already talked a little bit about neighbors, but when you guys go and meet people for the first time, like how long does it take for you to warm up to them to like actually invite them over or to tell them what you really do or like actually like become like friends with them?
I don't.
Well, yeah, I know
I
you live in
don't.
Moapa, but in this city we don't really do that.
Yeah,
We don't really do that out here either. Like I don't know. Well, the difference is for out here is I know everybody because I grew up here.
yeah.
So in
Can't get
fact, I
away
went to
from it.
the gas station this morning, got a Red Bull, and filled up my truck. And I was checking out, and my like football coach from like sixth grade walked in, and he's since has moved up to Cedar, but he was down here doing some work. And I sat there and talked to him for like 30 minutes, and he walked in and he's like, "Man, I could spot you anywhere." Like just started talking crap.
Yeah,
I mean, when he left, he was like, "Yeah, it's like I'm not just your coach. Like you're basically one of my kids."
yeah.
Right? I played football for him for like 3 or 4 years, and so I just know people here. So it's not like I go and meet new people. I don't really like meeting new people. I'll be honest with you, unless it's somebody that like at work or like if Fuzz were to bring a girl over.
Were we supposed to laugh at that or something?
Well, Fuzz
No,
laughed at
it's an
this.
inside
Dramatic
joke.
pause. Dramatic pause.
Trying to get me to react to his girlfriend's
Dramatic-
suggestion.
Oh,
Dramatic pause.
he's out here doing the blind
but
date thing.
I'd be down. A big one for us is social media, not only because we have policies from the department, but I try to keep everything personal off of social media, at least my like accounts that I use the most, my gaming account, all of that stuff. I don't, and sometimes it bugs my family, like it pisses them off.
Yeah.
But I have different accounts for everything because I have like my personal ones.
Yeah,
Because people will tag me, and because I tell like my family, I'm like, hey, don't tag me. Like you can post that picture, but don't tag me in it
mm-hmm.
because I'm in uniform or because this is in the background or because of this. You can give me a shout out, like you can say my name, just don't tag me. And then, but random people that I know that I'm not super close with don't know that. So I have everything separate, and I don't, for my public ones, if you guys look hard enough, you could find my personal ones. Not that I'll friend you, but for my public ones, I don't have anything relating to anything really. No department stuff, no family stuff, no. I don't even have really friends up there except for you guys
Yeah, let's see.
that I game
My
with.
personal one, I don't even post on anymore.
Yeah, same.
It's like I just watch it just to keep up with family that's back home, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, everything that I post on is on, Roxas stuff, and it's all related to gaming and whatnot.
Yeah, same. And I don't even have the people on here that I tag or talk to. Like I don't even know personally.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like people that I've networked with or met through online gaming, and
Yeah.
That's how you keep in touch with everybody. We do have one question from a viewer. It's 2 parts, and then we're going to go into the PSA, and we're going to cut this. How often do you go through uniforms?
Depends on how hard you work that week.
And depends on what you get to do.
Yeah,
and
I
the
mean,
time of
there's
year.
yeah, there's sometimes like depends on where you work at. Like if you were down on Fremont Street like we used to be in our uniforms, you were in a fight like every other day or every night, so those uniforms are getting destroyed.
Yes, but the nice thing about those uniforms is you can kind of just throw them in the washer.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the difference. So you can take those ones home, like your motor one with your polo top. It's just like the same thing,
Yeah.
different color. You can take those home and wash them yourself, and it's perfectly fine.
And the tack pants, you can take the tack pants home and wash them yourself.
Yes.
For me, I try to keep it with the motor as long as nothing crazy happens, like a crazy accident or something where I have to like crawl on the ground or drop my motor, like stupid stuff. As long as stupid stuff doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
I usually get about a week. If I really, really, really push it, we're looking at 2 weeks at the most. But
Yeah.
that's like winter time, like everything covered up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you're working day shift, you're going through a uniform a day, maybe 2 days at the most.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on motors.
You're
But
sweating like crazy.
In the summer. Yeah.
yeah, in the summer. And that kind of ties into the second part. The second part was, do you wash them at home? My motor uniforms and the patrol uniforms, we usually don't.
Mm-hmm.
I've washed my pants at home a few times,
Ooh.
but then you've got to like iron them to get the crisp on them.
They didn't shrink on you?
Yeah, let's say you
No,
got to air
you
dry
just got to
them
wash them right.
or air
Yeah, you got
dry
to air
them.
dry them and wash them right. No, I just hang them out. I just hang them. But again, I can do that. I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So. It just,
I was always told the
just
water
air
will
dry 'em.
wreck the wool.
No, I honestly think it's the same way that the dry cleaners washes them, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't had any issues so far. I don't do it all the time, but because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, I don't have a dry cleaner anywhere close, and they stopped coming to the station. So they used to come to the station, pick up, and then come to the station, drop off, and I use that, but they don't do that anymore. So, but as far as the shirts, those always go to the dry cleaner. They're pressed, and is like going through uniforms. I've only ruined one shirt. I've gotten more uniforms because when I came up to motors, they gave us more. I think like two shirts, 4 pants. I think, and they didn't really want to give them to us. They were just like, well, no. Then my excuse was, well, I needed long sleeves, so they gave them to us. But other than that, I've only ruined one shirt. Other than like missing a button here and there, because as Fuzz would say, I'm, compressed my shocks, my motorcycle. All right, Roxas, what do you got for PSA?
All right, so the PSA ties into the same thing. So this is pretty much for people who are off duty from other states to come to Vegas to party, mostly because we get the people on Fremont Street that come out, they shake our hand, they want to trade patches or something like that. Those are the responsible guys that come here. But we do have, every once in a while, we have law enforcement that comes to our city, and they act a little crazy. So we don't come to your city and act a fool. So please don't do it here, because we will notify chain of command when it happens here. And it's happened several times. So it plays in. When you're off duty, just remember that everything you do can come back and bite you in the butt.
And as a caveat to that, if you're in the military, the same thing goes.
Yeah, it's true. Same thing. Yep. So we've come across that also. And apparently airport. It's a shout out for our TSA workers out there.
TSA workers. Yeah. Dude, I have some funny people that come into my stream, but Christian comes in last night and started talking about like CIA, and then I started talking to him a little bit about TSA and stuff. But man, we have some TSA listeners out there that we give a lot of crap to, and security listeners too. It's all the same, really. All they do is pat people down.
You said
Anything
it, not
else,
me.
boys? You said it, not me.
Nothing
okay.
else.
Yeah, I think the people that will hear that will care about it, know us well enough to know.
They were joking.
To know. Oh yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, boys?
No. This was
Fuzz, can we get this picture of this fake license plate for when we put this out tomorrow?
Sure, go
or
ahead.
later tonight?
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was asking if you could get it, but okay.
Oh my god.
Cool. I'm sure I can figure it out, Fuzz.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I've already saved it.
There you go. See, he did all the work.
I just saved it as well. So
Wow, was it that hard?
It was really hard.
it wasn't. No, I just wanted you to do it. What are we looking at next week? Are we giving a cliffhanger for next week or nah? Something for people to think about.
They can think about whatever they want.
I don't know.
That's the greatness about free will.
All right, let's get out of here. Roxas got to go to work. Fuzz has got to go to bed. I got to go eat food because I'm starving because I just woke up from a nap.
Yes.
And then I'm going to play video games tonight.
Ugh.
Cool.
Well, okay.
Check us out on the Insta and the Twitch and the Facebook. Roxas is at Roxas ROXUS 89 on all of that. I am the number two cops with a Twitch, COPSWITHATWITCH. Flyin' Fuzz is at Flyin' Fuzz, FLYNFUZZ. I spelled that right?
Yep.
Yes.
I always get confused on whether it's one N or two N's. Check us out there. Also, check out the Discords over on Roxas. Is it in your link in your bio or where is
No,
it?
the link in my bio now is for the merch stuff. So if you go to my Twitch, I have the Discord invite underneath in all the little bars. All you do is just click the little Discord bar and it'll take you straight to it.
Take it straight to it. All right, yeah. So Discord's on his Twitch. As you heard him say, Roxas merch is out in his Instagram link. Go check that out. You got face mask stickers, some cups as well.
Oh yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's also more customizable stuff. So if you want to hop in there and look at all the other stuff that is on there, check it out.
And they are all homemade, so support small businesses. Anything else, Fuzz? You got a shout out for anybody?
Nope.
Say hi to your cat or something?
She's sleeping.
Oh, all right. What's your cat's name?
Brittany.
Brittany. All right. On that note, guys.
What's so funny?
Thanks for listening. Nothing. I don't know. Did you name it or did your sister?
Sister.
Oh, okay. See, now that makes more sense. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Rux has got to go to work, so we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Tune in. And as always, stay safe.